So I have an honest question for you guys to start. When you cut a sandwich, do you do it in triangles, like diagonally, or do you do it in half, like straight? And is it just like a weird placebo because the triangle makes it seem like there's more food when you do it diagonally? Maybe it's just me, but that's what's present and on my mind. Welcome in to part 9. Is it part 9 or is it part 10? Part 9. Well balanced dad diet. Whew. This one's great because I work on this one every single day and I have to do it with myself every single day. I have to wake up, smell the roses, and I have to engage. But who do I engage with? I engage with a lot of people every day working in the mental health and behavioral health field. I engage with a lot of people in a lot of deeply emotional ways. But I also have to engage with myself a lot. Often, for us parents, we find ourselves busy and heck with our kids going to school, our jobs, extracurricular activities, chores, everything that comes with managing the home and running a home. It's nearly 9, 10 o'clock before we even begin to settle down for the day. When we do, we're tired, we can feel overwhelmed, exhausted, and like a whole day just poof, gone. We are laying there at the end of the day and we're thinking, where the heck did the day just go? How many times have you found yourself laying in bed thinking, where the hell did the day just go? Do you think to do you think back at the end of your day about how you missed out in one way or another when it came to your kids, your partner, your friends, maybe even work, that you just missed the mark? Your mind may have been in other places. What happened? It's okay. It naturals. It happens to me all the time. Not just because I may have um, ADHD, but what I find myself doing is overthinking. I'm often overthinking. You could ask anyone that knows me. I overthink a lot. And I find myself doing it and asking why it wasn't better, more active, do this, do that. Why wasn't I kinder? I have to stop and wonder why it's consuming my thoughts, why I'm letting the negative energy consume my thoughts and my mind. And in hindsight, I did the best I could. So let's take some steps today to kind of work through this issue of being a little bit more present. First, don't overthink it. I'm dead serious. Don't overthink it. I have seen time and time again, personally, in dad groups, all that I'm part of multiple dad groups on Facebook, maybe about 3, 4, maybe 5, I don't know, that I don't know what to do with my kids. I don't know what to do to spend time with them. First, please take the time with it. You don't have to have these big, magical, whimsical, enormous, go big or go home kind of ideas. I promise. Seriously, I work with kids. I went to school to work with children. One of the biggest things I've learned is that kids just want to spend time with you. That's it. They just want to spend time with their parents, their dads especially. They love you. And honestly, they just want the time, the attention they're most. Time or two, we've all probably seen that one Facebook post that goes around where the little boy is asking his dad how much he makes an hour. And the dad gets really mad as to why he's asking, like, why does he care how much I make an hour? He finally tells him. Little boy goes upstairs, or goes and finds his piggy bank, comes back to his dad, and says, Daddy, I want to buy an hour of your time. Hands him the money. The dad breaks down into tears because he realizes in that moment, my attention has been everywhere else except for where it truly deserves to be. And if that short little synopsis of that story resonated with you, like it does with me from time to time, probably overthinking it. In this whole thing of asking our kids, we don't know what to do with them. We're overthinking. Like, what am I supposed to do with them? Have you thought about asking them what they want to do with you? Has your kid been doing all the right things lately? Working towards another trip to the arcade, movie, special dinner, or something for behavioral academic goals? The time for you to come through, and it's time for you to come through and cash that in. Because they've probably been holding on to it, waiting. Kids remember everything. You tell them one thing 6 months ago, they still probably remember it today that you said you were going to do something. Because that's what little kids want. They just want you to be consistent, be there, and do the things you said you were going to do. Because we're teaching them that you're only as good as your word, and your actions aren't matching your words. Maybe they just want to go on a walk. Maybe they want to go on a hike. Maybe they want to go to the gym with you and play some basketball. Maybe they want to kick or throw a ball around with you outside. Maybe they just want to play some Uno or some other board games. You noticing a theme here? Not many of these involve money. They just require your time. They just require you spending time together. So the second step here is to ask your kids what they want to do, and when you go and spend that time together, you take your time and engage with them, which means put your phone down. Your phone's not more important than your kids. I mentioned in the last episode of the Well Balanced Dad Diet, that we only have so much time with our kids in our lifetimes. By the time they're age 12, we spend about 75% of the time we're going to spend with them in their lives. By the time they're age 18, we're about 90% through all the time we're going to spend in their lifetimes has already been spent with them. You really have from 0 to age 12 to get the maximum amount of time with them before you're running off 15% and you're kicking yourself because you didn't spend more time with your kids. You didn't engage with them more while they were younger. There's a reason that they say that these are the best years of parenthood when they're little, because all they want to do is spend time with you. They just want to do stuff with you. They just want to love you and get to know you. They just want to be there for you. They just want you to be present and show up with them. That's it. So put that phone down. Step 3, put that freaking phone down. Leave it if you have to. If you take your kid to the park and you sit on the bench, you're on your phone the whole time, instead of engaging with them after you ask them what they wanted to do, why didn't you just stay home and let them play there? Same thing, what's the difference? Just a different environment, but what you're doing isn't any different. Your kid will likely have other kids to play with at a park, maybe a sibling, but you are taking them out to go and spend time with them. You're intending to play with them, engage, spend quality time with them. If your partner asks you what you want to do, you go and do it. And then you're there, and I see this all the time, couples sitting on their phones the whole time. How do you feel? Why don't you just stay home? It's the same concept. You feel the same way. You probably feel a little disappointed. Guess what? Our kids are going to spend the same way, feel the same way. They're not going to be as excited next time. Maybe going anywhere was pointless, and you feel like they don't care about what you wanted to do. Then that whole engagement at home, you start to run into behavioral issues. It's a ripple. Because, dad doesn't care. He's just on his phone. His phone's more important than I am. It's hard to really think that way, but if you think about it, it's pretty true. How would you feel if your kid or your partner was just on their phone when you wanted to go and do something really fun and exciting with them, and they're just on their phone, not engaged? It hurts. So why would we do that to our kids? Remember, if you want your kids to be present and engage with you as they get older and as time passes, you set that example for them. Right. Now, I know that was probably a lot to bring in and be present. Some of it might be a little bit hard to swallow. Maybe it wasn't. Either way, we started to talk about showing up and being present. We got to the point where we're present and there in the moment, which is what showing up is. We go from being physically present to showing up by engaging and doing what we are there to do. Again, I'm asking you, me to you, don't overthink it. It's as simple as it seems, and it's as simple as I'm trying to make it out to be. Now, how can you show up for your kid? I'm there as much as I can be. I do enough already, don't I? There are 24 hours in a day. You work maybe 8 to 10, some jobs 12, 4 to 5 times a week. You have 2 days off, you're tired, you don't have the energy to do more than something small on the weekends. Of course, it's going to look different for you than it does for me. I often say yes to a lot of the opportunities to get involved with my kids, whether it's at school functions, coaching, helping out with an event they attended or participating in. I say yes and build that into my schedule. However, I do my best to know the limits of my capacity. I've coached multiple sport teams, volunteered with Little League, I helped at school functions, showed up to school function support, volunteered the time I could, and always offered to help when I could. I'm always excited to get my hands dirty and help out because not only am I helping my kid and bonding, but I'm helping other children and families and people by giving my time. And this all brings me to step 4. You can only step up and coach. Step 4, sorry. Step up and say yes. If you can only step up and coach part of the team and commit that time and energy as like an assistant, then maybe be an assistant. If you can't even do that much, be a helper on the field as needed. I mean, there's a lot of different things you can do for sports teams. Can you help set up or clean up a school event? Can you get your organization to provide a donation? Can you offer your organization for an educational purpose so your kid can show off their parents and what they do? So, honestly, listeners, audience, what can you do? What are you going to do to get involved and show up? And how are you going to show up differently than you've already been showing up? There's more time than you think available in your day, and build it into your schedule. Use some of that time off for your kids. Put that time back into the investment of your children because they truly are an investment and they're the most worthwhile investment you'll ever have. Having the tough yet beneficial talk with yourself about where your goals and priorities are is you're going to have to come back to prioritizing your time. You're going to have to put your time and energy into things that matter. Hence, taking some time off and putting it into your kids. While you're still going to be pouring into yourself, the additional time should be going into areas of life that truly matter. Like I've been referencing, your relationship with your partner, your kids, and other vital areas. When your time is spent, it should align with when you're physically at and where you feel you need to be showing up at. There's a direct correlation between where you are and where you spend your time and energy. Yourself, your partner, and your kids should be your top priorities. Should, could, it's going to look different for everyone. Whatever order that in, those aren't the 1, 2, 3 order. It's going to look different for everyone. But that's where your priorities probably should be. Because the other things are temporary. Nothing's going to be more important than the relationship with your kids. Nothing should be, if you are in a healthy relationship with your partner, it should be second to none. And you being able to fill into your own cup, huge priority there as well. And pretty much my last point here is where does your time lead to that final point that I like to make here is where does your time lead? It's a fact that kids develop their main love tree by the age of 6, who they love and who the primary people that love and care for them are. After this age, we can all think back to sporting events, school activities, plays, performances, competitions. We remember who was there to celebrate with us, who was there to see our hard work, to see us do what we enjoyed, and we remembered who wasn't there. Step 5, the final step here. Show up when it's your time to show up. If you're not on the stage, you better be in that front row. At my daughter's kindergarten graduation, I was in the front row. She could look at me, give me thumbs up. She saw that I was right there. I was ready. Let's say part of the single parent, let's say you're part of the single parent, co-parent club like me. You often are either the one taking them or showing up for them to whatever activity, insert activity here. So many parents, specifically dads, Commit to never missing a ball game, a play, or an XYZ activity. It's so essential for your child to look up to the crowd, over at the bleachers, or into the audience to see you there. The nerves are eased, the jitters are gone. It helps you feel like a normal kid. It helps them feel like a normal kid. If you think back, probably the same feeling there. That's what I mean. The child then feels loved, supported, and like you care because you took your time and energy to be there for them. To you, it's just time and a few dollars. To your kid, it's the entire world. So there are 5 steps for you to take as many tools out of these different 5 steps and add them to your bag. I'm passing the ball back to you now. It's your time to show up. Be present.